So I already know you guys are wondering, why do I have a new background behind me? Because I decided I'm going to switch up the vlogs for my channel, in which only a few times each month I'm going to do a video centered on one very big movie news update, and then I'll give you my opinion on it. So that means the old CCR vlog is done. This is going to be the new one. And for the rules of the new one, here's how it's going to go. I'm going to do a vlog each week that relates to one of a series of movies that are releasing in theaters. And since this week, the options I chose were since Justin Bieber Never Say Never 3D, which I definitely will not see though, I thought about doing a vlog on my 10 favorite bands. And then since The Eagle was coming out this weekend, I thought about talking about my favorite epic films with you guys. And then since Just Go With It was coming out this weekend, I thought about doing a vlog on how much Adam Sandler's career has taken for a worse since the end of 50 First Dates. But I finally decided on one, and I'm going to do the second one, which relates to The Eagle, in which I'm going to talk about historical epics. The historical epic film genre is one that I'm very fond of, as the filmmakers who work in this type of genre, they put a lot of effort not only into the direction, the screenplay, the visuals, and especially the cinematography most of the time, but they always have to go for that perfect stretch. So I'm going to talk to you guys about my 5 favorite epics that I own right now, and I'm going to go from 5 to 1. This might take a little bit to decide which ones I'll go in order from though. My number 5 favorite epic that I decided to choose out of my collection is Gladiator, in which I'll turn my camera to show you that I actually have a Gladiator poster in my room too. There it is right there, guys. And the reason I put Gladiator 5th is because I think that this is the last Roman Empire epic that really defined the time period and made one hell of an entertainment out of it too. The film is so beautifully directed by Ridley Scott, and he really nails all the elements together revolving around the Roman Empire and the conflicts they also went through too. I think the film is very well made. I especially liked Russell Crowe in it, and he highly deserved his Best Actor Oscar. And the visual effects for ancient Rome and the gladiator fight sequences are done very well. So, if you haven't seen Gladiator, you better check this film out now. My number 4 favorite historical epic is Gandhi, starring Ben Kingsley. Now, I've only seen this film once. Like, I bought the DVD for it a little while ago, but I really loved the film when I saw it before. I watched it after I did a test in my U.S. history. I watched it after doing a test in my world history class back in my sophomore year of high school, and we had to see it in parts, of course, because it was such a long film. But yet again, if I remember watching it, I loved it. Ben Kingsley makes you believe that he's Gandhi in this film. He's so great in it. And Richard Attenborough's direction is very committed. John Briley's screenplay is also very well written. And especially the scene involving Gandhi's funeral has got to be one of the best scenes put on film, depending on how many extras they had in that, which was well over 200,000 from what I've heard. If you haven't seen Gandhi yet, and you're a Ben Kingsley fan, you're definitely missing out. Now this one might surprise you guys for why it's not number 1, but since I am not a very big film critic for who has to choose all of the great films like Citizen Kane and all that stuff as their favorite, I'm going to put The Godfather number 3. I mean, I really bought into the buzz of The Godfather when I saw it, but since I've seen a lot of other films since then, I can't really say that this film is my favorite epic of all time, or even alone, my favorite movie of all time. That belongs to Pulp Fiction, of course. But The Godfather is very well made, and The Godfather is a very, very well made film. It is beautifully directed by Francis Ford Coppola, and this was the film that really put him on the map as a filmmaker too. Marlon Brando, Al Pacino, the whole rest of the cast are very great with their performances. It's a journey that just grabs you from the beginning and never lets go. It's like a Scorsese film. Well, for that matter, it's like a pre-Scorsese film, because this is before Scorsese really hit it big with Mean Streets. And if you haven't seen The Godfather and you're a big film buff, check it out now. And now it's time for my top 2 favorite historical epics. My number 2 favorite historical epic is There'll Be Blood by Paul Thomas Anderson, starring Daniel Day-Lewis. The movie was inspired by the novel Oil by famed author Upton Sinclair. And this film is a historical epic about greed, money, betrayal, family, and a whole lot more. So in conveying its themes, this is almost like what I call a prehistoric social network, because there is so many of those themes that are present in the social network as they are in this film. Daniel Day-Lewis is simply phenomenal in this film. His performance is what really guides this film to being so great, and Paul Thomas Anderson's direction is by far the best of his career in this. It's not his best screenplay because I always save that room for Boogie Nights right there. But not only is it those elements that really sell this film up, but it's also the cinematography by Robert Elswit that is very well done in this film, especially for a couple of long takes that are in it too. It's shot very tight, and I really like the way the story goes in the film. The last scene may be unsatisfying for most people, but I still really dig the film, of course. And my number one favorite historical epic of all time, and maybe even close to my favorite movie of all time, but it's not there yet, is Lawrence of Arabia. The film is a biopic on the famed military officer T.E. Lawrence, who helped unite Arab tribes to fight against the Turks during World War I, but he ends up transforming his character, of course, after taking over Aqaba with his tribe, and that's where he really starts to shift in his personality and his thoughts of the war itself. This is an epic that absolutely needs to be seen on the big screen, and I'm really hoping that when I get a chance to rent out a theater, this is the movie that I'll be playing for sure. This movie is probably the best photographed film I have ever watched, and I'm being very serious when I say that because Freddie Young's cinematography is as gorgeous as it can get. For instance, there's two scenes that really stood out in particular to me. That was the Desert Mirage scene with Sheriff Ali's entrance, and then the scene in which Lawrence blows out the fire on a cigarette, and then the frame just cuts to the sunrise in which the frame is just all orange in front of you. The battle sequences are pretty well done, and Peter O'Toole's performance is what really guides this film, of course. Masterful direction by David Lean, too. This guy's probably the king of historical epic filmmaking, so that's why Lawrence of Arabia is my number one historical epic of all time. So I really hope you guys enjoyed my vlog, and I'm going to be doing this every week, in which each vlog each week is going to have a theme pertaining to a film that's releasing. For instance, next week it's going to be Unknown, and I am number 4 for the big releases next week. So I'll try to figure out some themes for those. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I'll be seeing The Eagle and maybe Another Year this weekend, so in the meantime, see you guys around.